What's the most interesting revelation you've had about the opposite sex? Nuts move all on their own. Like the skin flexes and shifts and like crawls up and down twitching. I read it on Reddit, called bullshit and went and inspected the spouse, was very surprised. I learned it in the last few years, I'm not a young person. It's all fun and games until you put her favorite bra in the dryer, even accidentally. How wet she is can be totally unrelated to how horny she is. I was 16/17 when I found out periods happen over time, not an instant gush of blood that comes out at some random point over a 1-week time period. I blame adverts for panty liners where they poured all the blue liquid out at once. As a dude I grew my hair really long and the amount of hair I had to pull out of my butt while showering was shocking. Crazy that so many long-haired ladies had been pulling hair out their butts most their lives. That they don't care much about our flaws like we think. That nothing stands the test of time in a relationship more than kindness. It can't be faked long-term. It's literally the most important quality in a mate. I learned on Reddit that they don't stick those pad things to themselves, they stick it to their underwear. I guess it's obvious in hindsight. Their pants don't have a waist size and leg length. Just an arbitrary number. The fuck is a size 3? Edit, I had no idea a size 3 was tiny. It was the first number that popped into my head. I truly thought the hoodies were mine. It was decades ago, but until I lived with a woman I had no clue how expensive bras were. I honestly thought they were like underpants, maybe $10 for a 3-pack. They can withstand you lying on top of them. Shirt buttons are on the other side? But, why? Edit, wow, crazy response to this post. It's amazing how we all go about life with something so different and not really even noticed. Men really do sit there and think about the most random things. You think they're mad at you, but they're seriously just contemplating what would happen if oxygen just suddenly disappeared for a brief moment. Men are incredibly emotional humans in a way that deserves so much showing up for and gentleness. I used to believe the stereotypes and didn't always hold space for men to bring their emotions. But once I began clocking into how some men show up in their emotions, I was able to see how awesome they are in that space. What's the most hurtful thing someone has ever said to you? When I was younger, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. My siblings and I shaved our heads to support her. This kid told me that he hopes my mom dies and that I looked like I was in the Holocaust. She has been cancer-free for 13 years, but fuck that kid. When I was young, my mom said holidays are better without me. I cheated on you, and the only reason I'm telling you is because I'm pregnant. You'll never be loved or cherished because you look like me. You will never belong anywhere, no one cares about you enough to actually be there for you. You will be a burden to everyone else. From dad to 11-year-old me after we argued about how he missed my birthday, again. But looking back, I laugh because it seemed like he was projecting his own insecurities onto me. LOL. You are nice, but damn, I have rarely seen someone as ugly as you. For context, teenagers summer camp, I was 17. This guy was supposed to be someone I was getting along with quite well, the whole group, but we were a few being always together. I was seated chatting with the whole group and he came to say that randomly. I wasn't even interacting with him. Like, he said my name so he could have my attention. It's like he needed to say it in front of everyone and he didn't feel like he was saying something wrong. What was weird is that he wasn't even laughing. It's not like someone or some people were trying to make fun of me. It was so harsh that people were speechless. No one laughed. At all. I think they were as much confused as I was. I appreciate no one jumped on that after those WTF 20 seconds, they all went like nothing happened. I am 35 and still remember this. Knowing how teenagers can be cruel, I hate this had a huge impact on me, but I remember people really tried to not make it a big deal. The group didn't fall into that shit and they were between 15 to 17 years old. I think someone even said to the guy, "Are you being serious right now?" But I am not sure. I was really trying to swallow the humiliation. Edit, I posted yesterday my night here just because I felt like to and was not waiting for any answers at all. I woke up and saw your comments and was again confused why so many people gave attention to my post. Thanks for your support. I feel fine today and I know I am cute and most of all nice, funny, loyal, and people want to be around me. But your biggest weakness being exposed in front of a group when you are a 17 I think is something you never forget. Don't hesitate to share your story. I read all comments. Took my math book up to the teacher's desk with a question. I wasn't grasping it. He slams my book on his desk and asked me if I was stupid or what. Small town school about 30 years ago. If I ever run into that prick, I have a few things to show and tell him. Locked in the bathroom, naked. Just look at you. You're fat and ugly. Nobody will ever love you the way I do. Ex-husband. He was right, I married someone who does love me, just not the way he loved me. Thank God. I have a daughter with an extremely complicated illness. Almost lost her to it twice when she was almost 3 and again 6 months later. In between, this was 15 years ago, I broke down and wept, being so worried about her and also how distant my wife had become from me as well. After I settled down, my wife told me that me crying like that had made me less attractive. My daughter is very stable now and I've been divorced for several years. You're a stupid diaper-wearing cripple and the world would be better off without you. My middle school bully. For context, I have spina bifida and suffer from total incontinence due to the nerves not working right. I had a theater teacher/director pull me aside after a show that I totally spaced a cue/line, it honestly was a super insignificant line, and the other actor improvised very well, and she straight up told me. Putting you in this show was the biggest mistake I've ever made. You're a disappointment. She got fired 2 years later and went to jail for a couple of years for banging my best friend's cousin who was a 15-year-old student. I wonder if putting me in a play with one line was the biggest mistake she's ever made. I had struggled with infertility for years. At my dad's funeral, my stepsister said, "I bet you feel bad that you never gave him any grandkids." My mum once said to me, "I love you, you're my daughter. But I don't like you. I would never seek you out as a friend." I was 21 and it was 40 years ago. I will never get over that, it hurt so much. You should do everyone a favor and kill yourself. Cut across for attention and down for results. A person who I called dad at 12 years old. You're ugly and underdeveloped. I was 10 years old and to this day it still gets to me. Edit to clear things up, this was said to me by a family friend's daughter, she was like 14. My dad one time told my mom over the phone while I could hear that he didn't want a relationship with me anymore. Edit okay, so I definitely didn't expect that to blow up as much as it did or to receive any awards, but thank you so much guys. Don't worry, I've commented the full story below and things are a lot better now. What happened to the first person you had sex with? We had to run and grab plan B, then she ghosted me. A month or so later I'm driving with a friend and I get a text, so I have my friend read it out, responsible driving and all. It's from the girl and says, "Hey pork soda, sorry I haven't texted you in a bit, I've been in a mental institution for the last month after trying to kill myself twice. Sorry." What a text. High school sweethearts. She broke up with me after 2 years for a guy she met in class. They've been married for 20 plus years and have 3 kids. Best decision for both of us. She is a teacher at the same high school, we banged it out in the parking lot. Deleted. She ran away from home, shaved her head, came back, tried to kill herself, was committed for 45 days, was released to a group home, ran away from the group home, got caught at a trap house during a bust, sent back to group home sent her to rehab, tried to kill herself in rehab, recommitted for 45 days. Long story short, she's married to someone equally unstable, they have 3 children together that somehow have had to raise their parents. What I know is that she died at age 29, on the same day as her infant daughter's funeral. I actually just found out more by Googling. She, Susan, was about a month shy of 29. Her daughter was 3, so older than I thought. It was a car accident. The baby died first. I had assumed suicide. I recently tried to track her down after 45 years and discovered that she died when she was 33. She had a daughter who is married. It's all starting to slip away. She got leukemia. And, no shit, the second girl I had sex with also got leukemia. The rest haven't it. Both girls beat leukemia. I married her. We've been together for 35 years now. She died a couple years ago. Fuck cancer. Lost track of him for about 10 years. Next I heard about him, he had murdered his girlfriend and killed himself 2 apartments down from my best friend's place. She married me, the damn fool. No idea and don't want to know. She got married to a man who has the same name as me, has a beautiful daughter and knits as a hobby. She appears to have a very good life. She has 3 kids from 2 guys and her Facebook updates are almost always pictures of her with a new boyfriend with captions saying she's so glad she finally found a real man. Comments are always "I'm so happy for you girl. You deserve this." She's 34.